Okay, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee with my hive number 2, and this is my survivor hive. And the reason why I call it that is because it started off well last summer. It then lost its queen. Why, I don't know, but it went queenless. I re-queened it in September, and I didn't know if it was going to survive the winter. It did, and to my surprise, it survived the winter as a two brood box. It's only one now, but it had 2 in it because there were a decent amount of bees and I thought they could make it. And it turns out that a group of mice, non-rent paying mice, moved into the bottom brood box, and these guys survived. Usually that's a death sentence to a hive, but these guys made it. So I reduced it to 1 brood box to let them build and let them deal with life without the mice anymore. And now I'm pretty sure I'm going to put on a 2nd brood box for them for the summer and just let them grow and strengthen. If their numbers are looking good and I'm going to put the 2nd brood box on, I'm also going to feed these guys as well so that they can start multiplying their numbers. So, you know, it's an okay amount of bees, not a huge amount right now. Usually hope to see a lot more up in that lid. So we'll see if they've got, you know, the better part of 8 frames. If there's bees on 8 frames inside here, then it's time for that 2nd brood box. I'm pretty sure it should be. It's been 3 weeks since I treated them for mites. And of course I will remove that mite strip right now. And I've always found that that's the time when the bees get nasty, is when you install the mite treatment or remove the mite treatment. It doesn't make them happy. So although, in theory, it should make them healthy. Whoa. Inner lid is glued on a little bit, so again, if this box has a good amount of bees in it, then we'll go with the 2nd box and start feeding. We'll keep a hive reducer on it as well, just so that they don't get robbed. Again, considering this hive has always been the weak hive, that's going to be pretty important. When I last opened up the hive, I saw that the queen had been laying brood, so it was a right laying queen, which is obviously the utmost important thing to do to find out in the spring, or at any time for that matter. Alright, so I'm going to lay this lid down and get rid of the mite treatment. And again, here's something interesting. So this has always been the weak hive, and here's the mite, what the mite treatment looks like from a very strong hive. So this is the MAC quick strips. Strong hive here, weak hive here. See the difference? Now I'm assuming that that is because there are just many more bees in this hive and they're taking the resource more. But this hive has done everything differently than every hive I've ever had. And now if we just look at the numbers here, I'm seeing lots of bees, 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 bees. I'm looking at, yeah, 8 to 9 frames are already taken up quite nicely here. So I'm just going to put the 2nd brood box on, feed these guys, and that's it. These guys are very pleasant. They were all very pleasant last year as well. The only time these guys got nasty was, again, when I did the mite treatments. So I'm just having a look to see if I see any mites or anything out of the ordinary, and it looks like they're doing really well. Looks like they've got a lot of honey stores on the outside, which is what we want. I can see decent pollen as well, and I'm willing to bet the queen is right here in the middle laying brood, and now she's going to have a ton more room to do that. Because I'm going to give her a 2nd brood box. Now, I've debated whether or not I should bring some of the brood from the bottom up into the 2nd chamber to entice this queen to move up, but I really don't think it's necessary. Last year it wasn't necessary, and they did quite well on it. So so I've just got this new 2nd brood box on there. Because I'm going to start feeding them a 1-to-1 sugar water ratio, they're going to come up through that box to get at the sugar water. So I'm not too concerned about them coming up. You can see The inner 7 frames are brand new. The outer 3 frames are already drawn out. So I'll just space them a little bit. And then I will get the, I'll get their inner lid on and then get to feeding these guys. With the inner lid, you've got to put the opening down now when we're feeding them so that they do have an upper entrance. And I'm going to have to remove all this burr comb on the top here because that's going to interfere with the feeder. So I'll try and get rid of these bees on the top. Sorry guys, I don't want to smush you. I want you to get out of here so I can go back into the hive. Get rid of this burr comb, whoops, which I am keeping. People always ask me why I throw away my burr comb. I don't. I put it down either on my pallet or on a big rubber tarp that I have here, and then I take it after the video's done. So I do collect the beeswax. I have rendered it once. I found it to be a great pain in the butt. So I will probably render again when I have a whole boatload of wax to do, because when you do a small amount, it's just not worth it. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but not something I want to do all the time. Very messy job, and you end up ruining a lot of tools. Okay, so I'm going to bring the top feeder now, and I'll show you which feeder I'm using in just a sec. Okay, so I'm back here with my feeder now, and these are the feeders I use. I use this this plastic top feeder. See, it opens up. It's got a lot of capacity, and it's got this well-designed kind of ridged interior, so the bees get some grip as they go down into the sugar water. But here's the thing: I use this feeder 8 or 9 times on different hives, and I never had a single bee mortality, right? Not a single one. On this hive, I used it last year, and every time I'd come out, every couple of days, there'd be 30 dead bees drowned in this water. And I don't know why that is. I think this is my George Costanza hive. It's the opposite of everything you ever think. A hive, it's the opposite of the way you think a hive should behave. When you think they're doing well, they're doing badly. When you think they're doing badly, they're doing well. So I'm going to try and feed them nonetheless, because obviously if you get some mortality, the benefits that you get far outweigh the drawbacks of the mortality. I should clean this lid off the hive so I wouldn't be bugging them as much, but see, these guys are pretty calm. They haven't come at me yet at all. So you just set this down over the hole in the middle. Try to get rid of all the bees up here, because they'll become trapped once you put the lid on. Actually, I've got to do something else first. Which is put this medium super box on just to protect them. Now it's got a grate on it. It just has a grate on because this is the box I used for winter feeding. But it should be no big deal. They should be able to make their way up, no problem. I might have to build a little bridge there. You know what? Maybe I could put this one upside down. Hang on a second. I'm just doing this one by the seat of my pants here because, let's see, if I set this upside down, this like this, and then end up setting this upside down, that should work just fine. And the lid on top of that. Yeah, that's the way I'll do it, because what was happening was with this mesh on the bottom, the feeder wasn't actually sitting flush on the inner lid there. I didn't like that, because they would have to build comb or fly up into the feeder, and you don't want them to have to do that extra work. So I'm going to pour my 1:1 sugar water in here. Just mixed it this morning, and that's the part of the beauty of feeding these bees sugar candy in the winter, is that whatever they don't consume, you can just melt and use in the spring. So that's what I ended up doing. I still have more to use, so I can do a couple more feedings with these guys, no problem. Little specks of stuff in there. And I suspect these guys will be coming up into this feeder very quickly. So that's all I'll put in now. I'll come back and check and see how they're doing every couple of days. And again, trying to entice them from the lower box into the second brood chamber box. But they really shouldn't need much enticing because they are fully stacked in there. What I'll do is I'll give them about a week, and then I'll come back and check them, and that's when I'll take a closer look at swarm prevention just to make sure they're not going to be going anywhere. And that's it for hive number 2. Thanks for joining me at 40 Honeybee.